Hi all of you. Today let me discuss with you again one of the very important domain of your CV, that is your resume. In almost all the CVs or all the interviews, you are to tell about your strengths and your weaknesses, of your personality. So majority of the people have this strengths and weaknesses in their personality. Only thing what we have to do is we have to give proper name to them and prepare if some question is asked from those strengths or weaknesses. When I say strength and weakness, this actually is related to your personality and not your skill. Sometimes students say, sir, I am not very good in this subject, or I am not very good in communication skills. These are your soft skills, technical skills, soft skills. Actually, in the strengths and weaknesses, he is not asking about your technical or your soft skills. He is asking about your personality skills. What skills are there? So, what are the strengths? What are the weaknesses as employee for the organization? That is what he is going to ask you. Now, let me tell you. When you tell about your strengths, you should ideally you should memorize. You should know some 3-4 your positive and 3-4 negative. Your strengths and your weaknesses, you should know that. As far as the strength is concerned, when you tell about your strength, it should not look like arrogance. It should not be arrogant. I mean, the way you express your strengths, you should be in position to humbly put forward your strengths, and you should be in position to justify. Because the moment you say, sir, I am disciplined, he is going to ask you, can you prove it, or how do you think you are disciplined, how you will convince us that you are disciplined. Or if you say, sir, I am very honest, how shall you convince them that you are honest? That is more difficult for you to answer, rather than if you say, I am honest. Okay, but they are going to ask you, they are going to dig further for that. And as far as the weakness is concerned, whatever weakness you are going to tell, it should not look like a weakness for trouble for organization. Your weakness should not be trouble for organization. And second thing is going to ask you, if this is your weakness, what you are going to do to improve upon that weakness. So with passage of time, up to what extent you have improved upon that. Moreover, if the weakness is not a trouble for organization, then it's okay. What is the trouble for us? So that is how it is going to be. Now there is no basically end of listing all these strengths or weaknesses. I have jotted down some strengths or weaknesses. Rest you have to identify what your strength or weakness is. But let me tell you what are the typical strengths and weaknesses in personality of individual. Now you can say, sir, I am hardworking and diligent. I am hardworking and diligent. Hardworking and diligent is the same word, but you are going to explain how do you think so, how do you say, and you have to make a story. Basically, you have to tell in a story form. You can say, sir, I am a third child of my parents, and I used to help my parents in their work in the field. I'm son of farmer. My parents are farmers, and I used to go from the childhood itself. Before I go to school, I used to go to fields and help my father, and I used to go to his shop after my school, or I used to help my mother in her day-to-day activities since childhood. So we used to work in a joint family. So you have to make a story and explain and justify. If you are hard worker, how do you think you are hard worker, and explain us in what way we should trust you. Patience and perseverance. So I have a patience, I am a patient fellow, and I am having perseverance. How do you prove it? Sir, this is my third attempt in UPSC, and I am coming here, I am preparing for the last 3-4 years. That justifies my patience. So I am trying again and again. This is my third attempt. So if you are doing that, they are going to trust you. And in fact, in your CV or biodata, you should write something which proves that. You have to do that. Sincerity and discipline. Sir, I am very disciplined fellow. My upbringing is in the defense background. My father served in army, and since childhood that discipline is inculcated in our personality. So if that is done, okay, that is justified. Calm and composed temperament. So I do not lose my temper, I do not lose my calm, even in very difficult situation, tense situation. I'm a very calm and composed fellow. So it should look like from your face. If your face is something, every individual has a facial expression. Some people look like very calm, some people look like very tense, some people from their face it looks that they are always smiling, some people from their face looks that they are little in tension, or they are little disturbed. So if your face or if your temperament looks like calm, then you can put this in your strength. तो वो आपको, you have to make a link between how you look like and what is your background and what your strengths and weaknesses are, because you have to justify it. So if you are from army background, you said I am disciplined. If you are from agriculture background, you said okay, since childhood we are in habit of doing this because I am helping my mother, something like that. Positive outlook and attitude. So sir, I have a very positive outlook for life and attitude for life. I see positivity in everything. You have to again quote example. Sir, when we were this, I got very less marks because of health problem. I could not clear my one semester itself, but I took it positively and eventually I got very good marks in the final year, and here I am sitting in front of you. So that displays your positive outlook or attitude. Humorous nature. Sir, I am very in the group of friends, I am always, everybody likes me because of my humorous nature. So even if the situation is very tense, I always find some humorous thing. So they are going to ask you to, okay, make this situation humorous now. So you should be ready for that. Positive belief, self-concept. Sir, my self-concept is very positive. Like sir, I'm not very good looking, people, but I don't feel that way. So you have to have positive self-concept, that I do not believe that looks have anything to do with your personality. That is only one part of that persona, that is outside how you look. My height is small, but that never led to me lack of confidence in me. I always was confident individual, that I always felt myself to be smart individual. So self-concept, positive self-belief about yourself, your capabilities. Delayed gratification. Delayed gratification means, sir, I wait for the best. Like many companies visited our campus, but I was waiting for the best company, and here I am in front of you, sir. I never applied in any company. So I had kept a target for me. I kept on delaying my gratification. That means I want reward, but I want the best reward, something like that. Extrovert, social interaction. My social interaction is very good. I am extrovert individual. I can very easily interact with anybody. That is what I think is my strength, sir. Formal or informal interaction or communication. So I am good in both formal and informal. I can go on stage also. I can informally interact also, and informally also. I have many friends in the hostel. My convincing powers is very good. I can convince anybody through my logics and rationality, that whatever my point is, I can convince others also. That is what you can say. Okay, I take a rational decision, a right decision and fast decision. I don't take much time. Whenever I go out with my friends for shopping, they take lot of time to purchase something. I take very less time to purchase something, and whatever I purchase, eventually that is a decision, my decision comes out to be right. So my friends say, okay, this is very good you have taken, and how much time I have invested to take that? Very less time. So if you're spending lot of time and eventually what you purchased, you don't like that, that is not a right decision. So adaptability, adjustment, I have a good adaptability skills. So since I have been, sir, from very childhood I have been in hostels. I went to Sainik school, and from there my adaptability. So your strengths, no, it should flow. It should match with your background, family background, with your previous academic background. And if you say I'm a consistent hard worker, so that should be reflected from a academic background. So 10th may I got 95, 12th may I got this, degree may I got this. Consistent hard worker, okay, it is proved. Perseverance, patience, third attempt you are coming, proved. Family background, this background, proved. So this is how you are to justify your strength. Do not write your strength out of blue. You are to justify it. So you need to make some kind of story there. Now your weaknesses should, as I told you, should not be weakness for organization. This should be weakness, but it should look like okay, and you should be in position to rectify it. You cannot say, sir, I am a drug addict, I am an alcoholic. You understand that? So you cannot make that your weakness. Now your weaknesses should also match with your strengths. Like if you say I am a hard-working individual, if you say I am a workaholic, you know what is workaholic? Workaholic is a person who does lot of work, hard work, keeps on doing work at the cost of his even health also. So sir, workaholic, I am a workaholic. That is my weakness. Workaholic is not a good thing, but that is not a problem for organization. It is good, and it is matching also. You are a hard work, diligent, and you are workaholic also. Then you can say I'm having occasional lethargy, laziness, occasional. Whenever you say negative, no, you don't make it general. You can't say I'm a lethargic fellow, I'm a lazy fellow. Do you think any recruiter is going to recruit you if you say you are a lethargic fellow or lazy fellow? Yes, occasional lethargy. What is your meaning by that? So sometime in a month, one day I feel like doing nothing. I keep lying on my bed and watching movies and all. Occasional lethargy, but that is acceptable. Honesty. Now there are some diplomatic statements. As I told you, these strengths and weaknesses should be written in such a way, innovative way, that the person who reads them should feel like asking you a question. And if you say honesty is my weakness, why you say that? Sir, too much honesty is not good, but don't write it. You explain it if he asks you. Sir, honesty I know is the best policy even today, but too much honesty may not be best policy, because excess of everything is bad. That is diplomatically you have to answer. You can say honesty here also. You can say, sir, my strength is honesty, my weakness is honesty. How do you justify it? Sir, honesty is the best policy, I know that, but for it to be best policy, it should not be excessive. So if excess of everything is bad, you know, these proverbs will help you out. Sir, honesty I know is the best policy even today. At the end it is always a good thing, but excess of everything is bad. So sometimes too much honesty does not pay. Like somebody teacher asked, who made this entire class go on bunk. So who was the student? Suppose teacher calls me and asks me who was the person responsible for bunking the class, and I honestly say he's the person. Do you think it is good? In the group or peer group you cannot survive. So too much honesty is not a best policy. Okay, straightforwardness. Sir, again I am very straightforward, but in this world straightforwardness does not work. You need to be little diplomatic. That is the meaning of it. Simplicity. You will say simplicity is a good thing. Okay sir, it is a good thing, but nowadays time has changed. People take your simplicity as your consider as your weakness. So that is something which is not good. You have to justify. Outspoken. So when you say you are extrovert or social interaction is your strength, you say outspoken. Outspoken is something who does not care about what other is going to feel. You are good in communication and you speak. Normally the person who is very good in communication is outspoken. He will speak certain thing which might hurt somebody. Okay, then gullible. Gullible is the person who actually easily gets into the influence of somebody. That I told you, okay, this is a very good car, you believed it. So easily believing somebody, getting convinced easily is called gullible. Normally girls have this tendency of being gullible. So if you get easily convinced by somebody's logic, you are gullible. Delayed decision making. Delayed decision making. You see, delayed decision making and fast decision making both can be wrong. Delayed decision making because you take a lot of time, and fast decision making, quick decision making can be negative if it is not rational. If eventually you take very quick decision and sir, because I take it quick, my decision is not right. Here we said decision making I take fast, but that is rational decision making also. That is a very good thing. You are a good leader, time management is there, but in this case this is a fast decision making. Lack of tolerance for discipline. Okay, you said discipline is a strength, but lack of tolerance, if somebody is not disciplined individual, it is your weakness. You can give examples, sir. For example, in a project, a college project, we were 4 students, and one of the student was not disciplined. He never used to come on time, so I always used to lose my temper and I could never tolerate him, and that is what I feel is my negative also. Fine. Lack of patience. Lack of patience for certain things. Lack of patience for something. You have to make it not general but specific. Can't keep secrets. That is very difficult for me. Again, some individual have this habit. They can't keep secret. Online shopping. Nowadays there's a lot of things going on. So whatever is the present situation going on, internet, everything. So you can correlate your strength and weakness to that also. Spendthrift. You spend a lot of money on this thing. Introvert. So introvert is something who keeps to himself. That is introvert. I should be social. Social shyness. That is also related to that. Stage fear. I cannot go on a stage. That is also related. Emotional sensitivity for certain thing like poverty. Sir, I am very emotionally sensitive. You see, emotional sensitivity is not bad thing, but then it makes you weak sometimes. There's a lot of poverty. When you see beggar, you become socially sensitive. Emotional, you become emotional. So you will not say emotionally insensitive or emotionally sensitive. Emotional sensitivity actually is a good thing, but for particular cause you can say I have emotional sensitivity for this particular cause, and that is something which I do not think it is strength, it is my weakness. Okay, so as we have discussed strength and weaknesses, the list is not finished. As you know, that can be so many positives, so many negatives can be there, weaknesses, strengths can be there. You need to identify your strength and your weakness, match the two, match with your family background, academic background, situation, everything, and then 4-5 strength and weaknesses you have to make, and then make a story. If somebody asks you how, then you have to make a story that this is what I think, sir, is my strength and weakness. I think I have made my point clear to you how you have to write strength and weaknesses. These are the two things every student is to write in his CV. Very easy to identify, but just see what strength or weakness you have in your personality and write that in particular words, so that it should not look like radical and it should not be problem for organization, and it looks like good for basically you as a person, and there's a match between them. Fine. Okay, thank you.